Across America! Something strange is happening. While big cities struggle with overcrowding, rising rents, and endless traffic, many smaller towns are facing the opposite problem. Streets are quiet. Schools are closing classrooms. Stores are shutting down early. Entire neighborhoods feel emptier than they did just 20 years ago. And now, these towns are doing something they never imagined they would have to do. They are begging for new people. Some towns offer cash incentives. Others offer free land, tax breaks, housing help, or relocation bonuses. But the real question is not what they are offering. The real question is why they are desperate enough to offer anything at all. In this video, we are going to uncover the real reasons why certain American towns want new people so badly. Not surface-level explanations. Not marketing slogans. But the deep economic, social, and demographic forces that are quietly reshaping these places. By the end of this video, you will understand why these towns are emptying out. What happens when people leave, and why attracting new residents has become a matter of survival. Let us start with the biggest reason of all. The first and most powerful reason towns want new people is population decline. When a town starts losing people, everything begins to break down. Fewer residents mean fewer workers. Fewer workers mean fewer businesses. Fewer businesses mean fewer jobs. And fewer jobs mean even more people leave. This creates a cycle that is incredibly hard to stop once it begins. In many towns across the Midwest, Great Plains, and parts of the South, population decline did not happen overnight. It happened slowly, year by year. Young people graduated from high school and never came back. Families moved to larger cities in search of opportunity. Retirees passed away without younger generations replacing them. Over time, the population age shrank and weakened. When population drops, tax revenue drops with it. Towns depend on property taxes, sales taxes, and local income taxes to survive. When there are fewer people buying homes, shopping locally, and working jobs, the town budget collapses. Roads stop getting repaired. Schools lose funding. Emergency services become strained. The town enters survival mode. Another major reason towns want new people is school closures. Schools are often the heart of a small town. They provide jobs, community, identity, and stability. When enrollment drops too low, schools are forced to merge or shut down. Once a school closes, families stop moving in entirely. No parents want to raise children in a town without schools. This accelerates population loss even faster. Many towns today are fighting to keep their schools open. They know that if enrollment drops just a little more, it could be the end. That is why attracting young families has become a top priority. Without children, the future disappears. The next reason towns want new people is aging populations. In many small towns, the average age is climbing every year. There are more retirees than workers, more funerals than births. This imbalance creates serious problems. Healthcare systems become overwhelmed. Local labor shortages grow worse. Businesses cannot find employees. Town leadership becomes dominated by older generations, while younger voices vanish. An aging population also means fewer entrepreneurs, fewer new ideas. Less innovation. Towns become stuck in the past while the rest of the world moves forward. Leaders realize that without younger residents, the town will slowly fade away. Another critical reason towns want new people is job loss and economic collapse. Many towns were built around a single industry: manufacturing, mining, farming, oil, railroads. When those industries declined, the town never adapted. Jobs vanished, and nothing replaced them. People stayed for a while, hoping things would improve. Eventually, they left. Now these towns are trying to rebuild their economies from scratch. But without people, there is no workforce. Without a workforce, companies will not move in. It becomes a chicken and egg problem. That is why towns are actively recruiting residents first, hoping jobs will follow. There is also the issue of empty housing. Thousands of homes sit vacant across small-town America. These houses still require maintenance. They still affect property values. Abandoned homes attract crime, vandalism, and decay. Entire neighborhoods begin to look forgotten. Towns want new people because empty houses signal failure. They scare investors and discourage development. Filling those homes is not just about population numbers. It is about restoring dignity, safety, and pride. Another reason towns are desperate for newcomers is business survival. Small towns rely heavily on local businesses. Grocery stores, hardware stores, restaurants, pharmacies. When population drops, sales drop, businesses close. Once a town loses basic services, it becomes even less attractive to new residents. Some towns are already past this point. Residents must drive long distances for groceries or medical care. Leaders know that without new people spending money locally, the town will collapse entirely. Let us now talk about remote work, because this is where things become interesting. Remote work changed the rules of where people can live. Suddenly, millions of workers were no longer tied to big cities. Saw an opportunity. They realized that if they could attract remote workers, they could rebuild population without needing factories or corporate headquarters. That is why many towns now offer relocation incentives, cash bonuses, free land, home buying assistance, co-working spaces, high-speed internet upgrades. These towns are not being generous. They are being strategic. One remote worker brings income, taxes, spending, and long-term stability. However, not all towns are equally prepared. Some lack reliable internet. Others lack housing options. Others struggle with healthcare access. Attracting people is not as easy as offering money. The town must still function. Another overlooked reason towns want new people is political representation. Population size determines funding, representation, and influence. When towns shrink, they lose political power. Grants dry up. Federal and state funding decreases. Infrastructure projects get canceled. Towns that fall below population thresholds are often ignored entirely. Bringing in new residents helps towns stay relevant. It keeps them on the map. There is also a psychological reason that is rarely discussed. Identity loss. Many towns were once proud, thriving communities. People knew each other. Businesses were busy. Streets were alive. Watching that disappear is painful. Town leaders are not just fighting for survival. They are fighting to preserve their town's identity. Now, here is where we need to pause and ask an important question. If these towns are so desperate for new people, why are most Americans still not moving there? That answer is complicated, and we will explore it deeply in part 2. Let me ask you something. Would you move to a town that truly wanted you there? A town that offered affordability, space, and opportunity, even if it lacked glamour. If this video is opening your eyes to a side of America most people ignore, subscribe to the channel. We explore the real stories behind American towns, cities, and migration trends. And comment below. Would you ever move to a town offering incentives to relocate? We will explore specific examples of towns begging for new residents, the incentives they offer, the risks involved, and whether moving there is a smart opportunity or a dangerous gamble. We explored why towns across America are losing people and why attracting new residents has become a matter of survival. But now it is time to talk about what these towns are actually doing. Why many of them are failing, and what moving to one of these places really means for your life. Because desperation alone does not save a town. Strategy does. Let us start with the most visible sign of desperation. Relocation incentives. Across the United States, towns are offering money to anyone willing to move there. Some offer $5,000. Others offer $10,000 or more. Some offer free land. Some offer free housing lots. Some offer student loan assistance. At first glance, this sounds unbelievable. Why would a town pay people just to live there? The answer is simple. One resident is worth far more than a one-time payment. A single working adult pays taxes, spends money locally, supports schools, keeps businesses alive, and stabilizes housing values. Over time, that one person brings more value than the incentive ever costs. However, incentives alone do not solve deeper problems. Many towns fail because they attract people who leave just as quickly as they arrive. Some move for the money, realize the lifestyle is not for them, and leave within a year. This creates frustration and wastes limited resources. Another major strategy towns use is marketing a new identity. Many struggling towns are trying to rebrand themselves. Former factory towns now call themselves remote work hubs. Farming communities market peace and simplicity. Old railroad towns promote history and charm. These rebrands are not lies, but they are incomplete stories. A town can be peaceful and still lack opportunity. It can be charming and still feel isolated. Now let us talk about the biggest challenge these towns face. Jobs. Even with remote work, most people still want local employment options. They want backup plans. They want stability. Many towns want new people but cannot offer enough jobs to support them long term. When remote workers lose contracts or companies downsize, there are no local alternatives. This makes newcomers nervous and limits long-term commitment. Another serious issue is healthcare access. In many small towns, hospitals have closed or downsized. Clinics are understaffed. Specialists are hours away. For young, healthy adults, this may not matter. For families, retirees, or people with chronic conditions, this becomes a deal breaker. Towns can offer money, but they cannot offer healthcare infrastructure overnight. Education is another barrier. Even when schools remain open, resources may be limited. Advanced programs, extracurriculars, and college preparation may be lacking. Parents worry about their children's future. This fear alone stops many families from relocating. Now, let us address the emotional side. Many towns want new people, but they are not always ready for them. Some communities resist outsiders. New ideas are met with suspicion. Change feels threatening. New residents may feel unwelcome or isolated. This social barrier is one of the most underestimated reasons relocation programs fail. Towns that succeed are the ones that do not just attract people, but integrate them. They involve newcomers in leadership, events, and decision-making. They listen. They adapt. Let us look at the types of people these towns are actually hoping to attract. First are young families. Families bring children, school funding, and long-term stability. They fill houses and invest emotionally in the town. But families need schools, healthcare, and safety. Without these, incentives mean nothing. Second are remote workers. These individuals bring outside income into the local economy. They spend locally while earning elsewhere. This is one of the most powerful economic models available today. Towns that invest in high-speed internet and co-working spaces have a real advantage. Third are retirees. Retirees bring stable income and do not need local jobs. They support healthcare, retail, and services. However, they also increase demand for medical infrastructure and social services. Fourth are entrepreneurs. These are the most valuable residents of all. Entrepreneurs create jobs, revive downtowns, and build momentum, but they require supportive policies, access to capital, and open-minded leadership. Now we must talk about the risks. Moving to a town that desperately wants people can be either life-changing or deeply disappointing. Some towns will rebound, others will continue to decline. Some incentives will disappear. Some promises will not be kept. This is why research is critical. You must look at population trends. School enrollment, hospital access, internet reliability, local government stability. These factors matter more than incentives. Now let us talk about the future. America is at a crossroads. Big cities are becoming unaffordable. Commutes are exhausting. Stress is constant. At the same time, small towns are fighting for survival. Somewhere between these two realities lies opportunity. The towns that survive will not be the ones offering the most money. They will be the ones offering the best quality of life. The ones willing to change. The ones that welcome newcomers not as saviors, but as partners. Here is the truth most people never hear. Some of the best places to live in America are not popular because popularity is temporary. Stability is not. These towns want new people because they need them. But that does not mean you are doing them a favor. You are choosing a different path. A path with space instead of crowds. Community instead of anonymity. Affordability instead of constant pressure. Before we end, ask yourself this. Would you rather compete endlessly in a city that barely notices you, or be valued in a town that truly wants you there? If this video helped you see America differently, like the video and subscribe. We explore the real stories behind towns, migration, and the choices shaping the future of where people live. And comment below. Would you ever move to a town offering incentives to relocate? Because sometimes, the places that want you the most are the ones that give you the best life.